So today we're off to Dearborn, Michigan to Northview Cemetery to view the gravesite of actor George Peppard. As you enter the cemetery, you're going to take the first road to the right and go down around 400 feet. His grave will be on the right hand side. He died at age 65 on May 8, 1994 from pneumonia, 2 years after finding out he had lung cancer. Most of us today recognize him from his portrayal of Hannibal Smith in the A-Team TV series back in the 80s. But he was an actor and a movie star long before that, starring in the United States Steel Hour back in 1956. Growing up just 2 miles from the cemetery, as a kid I passed this cemetery hundreds of times. And even today I would have never gone in the cemetery if George Peppard had been buried here. I was surprised to find the condition of the cemetery being not paved, being rural, considering that it's located in Dearborn, which is a suburb of Detroit. My only bit of advice if you decide to come and visit the gravesite of George Peppard is don't bother asking the groundskeeper where it is if you can't find it, because he's a real jerk. Our next stop will be at Northside Cemetery in Maybee, Michigan, about 40 miles north of where George Peppard was buried. Airman First Class Frank A. Eulek Jr. lived in Schofield, Michigan at the time of his enlistment in the United States Air Force in 1966. He was severely injured in a munitions explosion at Korat Royal Thai Air Force Base in Thailand on March 11, 1968, and subsequently died of those injuries on March 15, 1968, at the Air Force Hospital at Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines. He was just 19 years old. Darren Thomas Lipkowski was born in Livonia, Michigan on October 11, 1995. According to his obituary, Darren was a pure redneck at heart. He loved the country life, and he lived each day to the fullest. He was particularly fond of his 4x4 truck, Big Girl. He was an avid motorcycle enthusiast and loved snowmobiles. He also liked hunting and fishing. On Friday, April 18, 2014, Darren passed away from injuries suffered in a motorcycle accident with a dirt bike. According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, both the dirt bike driver and Darren were pronounced dead at the scene. A 21-year-old passenger on the dirt bike was taken to the hospital where she was also pronounced dead. Deputies said the dirt bike was northbound on Doty Road about 11:30 p.m. when the dirt bike traveled left to center for an unknown reason and struck Darren's southbound motorcycle head-on. Corporal Clyde Edward Nags died during the Korean War. He was listed as missing in action while fighting the enemy in North Korea on December 2, 1950. He was presumed dead on December 31, 1953. He was just 18 years old. Our last stop for the day will be at St. Joseph Cemetery in the same city, Maybee, Michigan, where we're going to be visiting the gravesite of Chelsea Bruck, who was viciously and savagely murdered in October 2014 after attending a Halloween party in Newport, Michigan. Kelsey was only 22 years old when she went missing after a Halloween party on October 26, 2014 in Frenchtown Township, Michigan, which is just outside Monroe, and her body wasn't found until April 24, 2015 in a wooded area near some train tracks in the village of Carlton, which is about 10 miles north of the party. A construction crew was doing excavation work on a piece of property where a man was planning to build a house. The crew discovered the body while checking on a piece of equipment. In September of 2015, a DNA sample that was taken from the leggings that Chelsea was wearing and was found near her body came back to an unknown male. In July of 2016, detectives learned that the DNA that was taken from those leggings produced a hit belonging to a local Newport resident. In July of 2016, the suspect confesses in an interview, and in 2017 he is found guilty of first-degree murder and will spend the rest of his life in jail. Gregory Grubb was just 27 when he died from injuries he suffered in a hit-and-run accident on June 30th, 2012 in Frenchtown Township, just north of Monroe, Michigan. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office reported that Mr. Grubb was driving westbound along Heiss Road when his car came to a stop at around 3:30 a.m. Mr. Grubb got out of his vehicle and was struck by a pickup truck that was traveling eastbound. The driver of the pickup truck left the scene, but turned himself in later. In court, he pleaded no contest to a charge of driving under the influence of liquor causing death. The driver who hit and killed Gregory served 4.5 years in prison and got out in June 2018. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel.